By reading out a statement from Diane Abbott MP, who is the president of Stand Up to Racism. Yeah, shout out for Diane Abbott! Thank you all for coming today. What you are doing today is historically important. The far right is on the march, not just here, but right across Europe. The reason they are on the march is clear. Our rulers are failing to deliver. The economy here and in Europe and in North America is failing to deliver for ordinary people. In many cases, including here, living standards are actually falling. There is money left, but your landlord has it, your bank has it, your energy company has it, your government is cutting welfare and public services. But the far right and the fascists twist this. They are the boot boys for these giant firms ripping you off. They blame you, they blame black people, they blame asylum seekers, they blame Muslims, they blame all immigrants and all people who look like migrants. They are wrong, they are vile, and they are dangerous. We can never move forward by conceding an inch to these people. We went up this dead end in the 1930s. It was a disaster for the whole world. It can never be repeated. It must never be repeated. We will continue to resist them. For all our sakes, we must resist them, and we will win. Shout out for Diane Abbott!
Hi, I'm Jawad. I've come all the way down from Leeds today because what we've seen in the news recently with Tommy Robinson and Elon Musk becoming quite close friends. Elon Musk encouraging people like Nigel Farage and Tommy Robinson to overthrow the British government and to essentially have far-right hate marches again in our country. You see Elon Musk with his ego and having him doing Nazi salutes twice on stage at the Trump inauguration and having Zoom meetings with the AFD at their rallies. AFD, who has a known neo-Nazi fascist wing, it emboldens the far right and the racists here. The far right would like to say they're not far right, but when they're spouting, anti-migrant rhetoric, anti-Muslim rhetoric, you look at what the far right have been saying and thinking for a while. A lot of people who have been working with Nigel Farage or in Reform, for example, they say horrific things about Muslims, wanting to kill them and all sorts. You see a BBC documentary recently where a reporter went undercover into a far right, group, and they were saying that all migrants should be lined up and shot, saying that there's only white supremacy, only white people should be on this earth. These are the type of people that we're fighting against and we're facing. A hardcore fascist wing bringing in people. And the reason why people are turning to this kind of ideology, because it's easier to think that it's because of other people you're facing economic hardships than because of the state itself. Look at what happened with Brexit. The state promised that waiting times would go down, that there'd be more funding to the NHS, better education for schools, but that didn't happen, did it? Because migrants who work in the NHS had to leave because of Brexit. Migrants who were here studying to be doctors and nurses, they've left. So we're understaffed because a lot of migrants who work at NHS have left. So when you look at the fact that Keir Starmer says we're in austerity, it's easy to think it's because of migrants and refugees taking our jobs and money, that it's because of the state itself, when it's not the state itself. Refugees live on £10 a week, they live in prisons, turned to detention centres, they need necessities given by charities. There is no taking jobs or taking money, because it's a state hoarding money and selling it to fund wars overseas, like the genocide in Gaza and like various other things. If the government had stopped focusing on bombing other people and funding the bombing of other people, they could focus on their own people in this country and not let them turn to the far right and not let them think that it's because of Muslims, migrants, refugees that they're facing hardships.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, for anyone who's going to be seeing this and want to say in the comments various horrible things, I want you to look into yourself first, research what you can. What are the conditions of migrants? What are the conditions of refugees? What has the state putting money into besides the NHS and besides all the services that we so desperately need? Why is it that the government has cut winter fuel pension cuts, right? Why are they not giving more funding to those homes who need gas and electricity desperately for the winter? People are freezing in their homes. It's not because of migrants people are freezing. They don't control the money, the government does. Think about that and think about that first. And then look into what you can do, not against migrants, but with migrants and with refugees and with everyone in this country to stand against Keir Starmer for the austerity he's creating.
Here today. But look, we've got something to do today.
The last few months have seen the racist poll groups whipped up last summer. The surge in the polls for the hard right and the threat of cash.
I'm a member of a trade union, which is Unison, and we've come down with the support of our branch, but at the same time, fascism is a real danger in the world and in this country, and I live in a part of Birmingham that's a multiracial area. I don't want to have disharmony in the area I live. I feel that the fascists are a real threat to all our lives, and we've seen what fascists do in other parts of the world. I'm really worried with the rise of fascism that in fact we could be living in a fascist state here in the near future. So I'm joining these other people on the demonstration today to show that we're not going to let that happen. Final message is I'm glad I came down here today after I came down on the one in October. We do need to build this anti-racist movement. We need to fight the fascists on the streets. I've been fighting fascists since the 80s and we defeated them then, we can defeat them again, and we can change the racist sort of press and government to allow us all to live a better life together in this country, to fight not each other but to fight against imperialism, to fight against big capital that essentially are defining the way we live our lives in this country, whereas we need to have proper housing and decent ways of earning a living and living together.